Okay, great. So welcome everybody to this session from Netskope. Thanks for the warm introductions. I would be touching upon on some of the forward-looking statements too, so please take it with a pinch of salt, ensure that you keep it to yourself. But the focus of today's session has been to kind of take you through what we at Netskope have learned about the usage patterns and what are the things that we are doing to kind of help you and your users stay protected, as well as show you the benefits of using AI to secure the access to AI, right? So before I get into what we are building, few trends, and these trends are based out of the AI index that Netskope publishes every month, where as we are a major control plane, we get to see a lot of traffic coming in, and then based on that, we have come up with the trends that we publish. So it's publicly available. You can go through the website too. It's called aiindex.netscope.com. At a very high level, we continue to see that ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, and Microsoft taking the top positions, and this has been since the past year. If you go to our site, you will be able to see the kind of trending and all of it, but ChatGPT leads the enterprise AI application usage, and the org adoption has been at around 98%, which means almost everybody is using ChatGPT out there in enterprises, closely followed by Gemini as well as Claude and others, right? The other trend that we have been keeping a close watch on is with respect to the regional adoption. So apart from Africa and Middle East, which is lagging a bit with respect to adoption and penetration, Asia is at par with our counterparts in North America and Europe with respect to adoption. As you can see, the growth also is pretty significant, like 61% is the growth from whatever we have been seeing. In Asia specifically, Gemini is leading the adoption. And we also keep an eye to find out what kind of companies end up using or adopting AI. For this particular group, where most of you are leading global organizations having 10,000 plus users, we see that the adoption has been at around 99%, right? Or 99% of the global 2,000 that we have come across are using AI, adopting AI, and giving their end users the access to AI. And the most used application in this segment is Claude. From an application types point of view, we see that the conversation has been the key focus area with respect to adoption. Almost 100% of our customers use some AI companion / tool to kind of help in conversation. That would be in the chats and in these meetings and all of it, right? Followed by others, but coding also is catching up rapidly. So all of this leads us to the fact that the end user's activity has been like growing significantly. As you can see here, from September till this month, that is June, we are seeing a massive adoption in the amount of end user activities that we are seeing. The daily activities has been like going off the roof, especially for the Claude part, the Claude code part. And we're also seeing similar trends for the other applications out there from an end user's activity. The growth, all of this, the adoption and usage also has a direct correlation with the amount of DLP alerts that we are seeing coming to Netskope. And we have seen that there has been at least a 20% increase in the amount of DLP alerts that we are seeing from customers who have actually put in the right policies to kind of keep a watch on the AI applications. But a majority of the customers are in the initial phases of kind of bringing the AI apps into DLP and threat purview, and we expect this trend to kind of grow rapidly in the coming months, right? Which means as you see the growth in the DLP alerts, you would also start seeing that the amount of DLP violations are like growing rapidly. The primary type of data that gets into these violations, especially with AI, has been regulated data, PCI, PII, and all of it. So that has been on a weekly basis, we track this, and we are seeing that it has been growing rapidly. Followed by source code. Many a times it makes it super easy. The AI applications make it super easy for me to kind of put in the snippet that I'm developing if I'm a developer or if I'm somebody who's automating the code into Gemini asking for help. Many a times, it's all unintentional. Many a times you end up passing on IP, important code logic that you should not be, that would be your IP, right? So that's something that we are seeing. And so apart from the end users' access to the SaaS applications and AI applications, what we are also seeing is there has been a huge amount of increase with respect to agentic traffic that we are able to kind of track. We are seeing that the amount of autonomous agents and AI agents, not the humans, but the agents interacting with LLMs, interacting with other AI services, is rapidly growing, which kind of brings out an important blind spot with respect to security, where we are seeing many of our customers really getting into these kind of risks, where they end up getting worried about, or they kind of start seeing the risk with respect to not just insiders, but then digital insiders, not just humans, but the agent that I had created, the agent that I had got access to which that I have given the keys. It now ends up doing stuff that I may not be able to track, or I may not have time to track, or I may not have the capacity to track, right? So we are seeing all kind of risks emerging, especially around the agentic usage, apart from the north-south traffic with human to AI frameworks. And the interesting fact is, unlike in case of wherein we used to kind of give access to a human, where the access was very controlled to the desk, to the bathroom, and maybe to the meeting room, when it comes to agentic, all you give is the tokens. And many a times, when we grant such access in our organization, we don't even know what and all can the app do, or the particular agentic app do, right? And that brings in a lot of interesting companies, I would say, into bad news, which we have been seeing on a daily basis now, right? So what we have done at Netskope is to look at it from two angles. The first angle would be to kind of look at on how do we help you, our customers, to secure your AI usage, your end users' AI usage, your agentic usage, and all of it. And the second part is, how do we do what we can to kind of use AI to help you secure your end users' experience with AI and other parts of the security, right? The first part is what are the products that we have to help you secure your end users' access to AI. And second part is, what are the products that we have built using AI, which is going to kind of make your life easy to kind of monitor, track, triage, investigate, and respond to the risks and threats that emerge out of AI usage, as well as non-AI usage. The first part is what my colleague is going to cover in upcoming weeks. That's going to be around the products that we have from Netskope, which focus heavily on securing your AI traffic. At a very high level, I'm not going to get into the details, but then we have built a fabulous suite of products that's going to ensure that your whole AI lifecycle is secured and protected using the products that we have. That's something which we will, in a couple of weeks' time, we will get back and do a deep dive on. But what I would be focusing on today heavily would be on how Netskope is leveraging AI to make your life easy with respect to securing AI as well as non-AI workloads and interactions. Now, for us to kind of help you secure with AI, we have made pretty significant investments to build in-house products and platform, which we call as the AI Labs. It's a specialized division of advanced cybersecurity, wherein we develop large-scale responsible AI and ML models tailored to kind of meet your security and SSE applications and use cases. We have close to 200 models that have been deployed for our consumption, so that we don't have to completely rely on the public models out there and all of that. And we have close to 44 patents already granted around this, and many more on the pipe, right? We call it the Scope AI. The other part that we have been heavily focusing on is to kind of help your teams, most of you have kind of got to pretty advanced stages of the maturity with respect to security. So instead of you needing to kind of wait on a vendor to kind of build out your automation and use the APIs and understand the APIs, Netskope has started investing in building out the MCP server. That's going to help you automate, orchestrate your workflows out there, which may be very specific to you. And this particular product called Netskope MCP Server is available as technology preview. The use cases that we have seen some of our early beta testers using it for is to kind of simplify and streamline configuration, achieve the workflow orchestration automation, complete the cycle with respect to pulling things together, uh, analyze and act on the past content and all of it, right? So that's in tech preview. We'll highly encourage if any of you are interested to kind of reach out to your Netskope representatives. We would love to kind of have you onboarded into the beta testing, right, and get your feedback. The third pillar that we have heavily invested with respect to using AI to help you is building out what we call as the AI Agentskope agents or Agentskope, right? These are a group of agents and underlying platform that's going to help you get very specialized functionality on these particular pillars. Some of them would be focused on data summarization, some would be on policy recommender. Some of them, which I'm going to do a deep dive on today, is around triaging, investigating, and responding to the risks and threats that would emerge out there, especially for the security operations team. And the fourth pillar that we are building out these agents on is to kind of help you discover, create policies, build diagnostics to kind of troubleshoot and all of it, right? And all of this are built over a common platform, which has like the chat history, task orchestrator, summarization, prompt builder, and all of it, which means you would get the similar experience in each of the agents that we're building. Plus, the foundation is pretty solid, right? So the third pillar that I was talking about is what I'm going to touch upon. But we recently did a launch a few weeks back where we shipped around the first set of our agents, which includes agents from different buckets that I have listed here. The ones that are pretty very well received have been the ones around the DLP agent for the security operations team, the DEM insights agent, DEM intelligence agent, and then we are building out the CCI agent, the NP agent, and the insider threat agent, right? All of this, as I said, is built on the Agentskope core infrastructure that Netskope has, right? Now I'm going to take you through and do a deep dive on the first one out here. So instead of just telling you what we are doing, I would also like to kind of show you the power of what we have built, what we have GA'd, and the stuff that we're building, right? Meanwhile, would there be any questions on the chat that I should consider answering before I get on to the demonstration on anything that I've shared so far?
We can take that at the last, Dev.
Perfect. Great. Okay. Now let's do a deep dive into AISecOps agents that we have built. We'll look into the DLP agent. I'll a few slides and then I'll do a demonstration, hands-on demonstration. What we have tried building is one of the first of its kind solution, which kind of mimics a senior security analyst on how he or she goes about executing and accelerating the end-to-end data protection workflows that you may have out there, which includes finding out what are the most risky DLP alerts or what are the most risky signals that you have out there, and then trying to find out among the most risky, what are the ones that needs immediate attention based on the potential impact versus the criticality. That is the triage part. Which are the items that could be easily closed, which are the items that could be assigned, which are the items that needs to be looked at urgently. Then we also have built in the capability, the third capability that you usually see in the workflow, which is around investigate the particular group of related DLP incidents or alerts, so that instead of you needing to spend a lot of time trying to pull data from different sources, especially given the fact that the amount of DLP incidents is growing due to AI usage. What we are seeing is many of our customers are appreciating having a companion agent, AI agent, which works along with their existing teams, kind of complementing and empowering the human analyst to kind of go to the next level to pick up more advanced forensic investigations and investigation level 3 and more. Whereas the agent gets the level 1, level 2 part done, right? So that's what we have built. So the core capabilities are we have built what we call the case management system, intelligent case management system, as I'm going to demonstrate, wherein we group related DLP alerts and incidents into a case. So instead of you looking at an individual DLP alert and trying to establish whether this needs to be investigated, whether it's risky, the agent does that on your behalf based on basic instructions that you provide to the agent. For example, if your use case is to keep a tab on data exfiltration attempts using the tactic where I may kind of batch chunk and try to exfiltrate a large file in form of small, less than 1 KB file. So that's a interesting and well-known tactic that, as you know, folks use. So you would be able to kind of tell the agent to kind of keep an eye for that, and the agent would kind of group all the related incidents and alerts that are coming in into a case, and then you would be able to look at the case, and then in the second part, the agent would be able to kind of automate the investigation and hunting on the incoming cases as well as in the alerts. And then finally, we are also building out, and we have built out the capability for you to kind of surface or overlay, I would say, the business context that your team would know, your security teams would know, especially the security operations team would know, with respect to who is allowed to kind of test what, which applications are being pen tested, which applications are to be used by HR team and which are not to be used by finance team and all of it. So all of that, as part of response, you can feed it in without needing to kind of change the existing well time-tested DLP policies that you have put in place. Instead, you would be able to overlay this temporary or permanent business context, like the tribal knowledge that your teams would be sharing with each other, right, into the agent, and thus it's going to kind of help you to kind of respond, come up with response and remediation actions, create ITSM tickets and all of it right inside the platform. We take multiple steps to the agent go through multiple steps with respect to how it gets its work done, dedups, takes out false positives, regroups, clusters, and then it kind of runs the best practice recommendation workflows, providing you capabilities to triage using NLP, investigate and provide this business context using NLP, and then finally come up with recommendations and remediation actions. Right. Our key goal is to help you bring down the MTTR and empower your existing analysts to kind of look into the advanced threats and sophisticated attempts that folks will be doing, and that the agent will take care of the level 1, level 2 activities that you may have to do, and to kind of deal with the increasing traffic with respect to the incidents that are coming in, the alerts that are coming in. At a very high level, the use cases would be to improve your triage without needing to do a lot of guesswork. Second, we would the use case that we have seen many customers appreciating is the ability for the agent to automate enrichment and investigation. As you know, Netskope as a control plane has a very rich set of signals and context which you can fetch and kind of use it in your investigation. With this agent, we would automate that, and thus the agent would be able to go and fetch the information with respect to not just with respect to the DLP incident, but also users' behavior and behavior patterns in past. Which applications has the user accessed, which has not resulted in DLP hit. Look into the forensic file and try to understand if there is context there, which helps me understand, the agent understand whether the file is really sensitive information or it's just dummy sensitive information. Or is the user trying to upload or download his or her PI information, which is not right, or which may not be appropriate, but still it's not super risky from an organization's point of view, right? All of that enrichment and investigation inside our platform and using the signals outside our platform, like from the likes of EDR and others, would be pulled in automatically by the agent. That makes your life a lot more easy, your team's life a lot more easy. And finally, the use case would be around integrating the response and remediation. Create ITSM tickets for this. Reach out to the manager automatically using Slack or Teams to ask for business justification, and so on and so forth. Before I get to the demo, a quick summary of the case study that we did with one of our beta testers who are evaluating, one among the many who are evaluating the agent. They are one of the world's largest consulting companies, one of our largest customers. They end up generating close to 14 million DLP alerts and a little more than 2 million DLP incidents every day, every working day, right? And thus they have the capacity to kind of look at close to 200 to 300 DLP incidents a day. I mean, thoroughly go through it, right? Which is like less than 1% of their critical cases. So what they found when they started using the agent that we built was that over the past 30 days, they saw around 112 million alerts coming in for them, which kind of translated into 65 million DLP incidents. And the agent was able to shrink that to around 7,740 cases. Right? These cases are a group of related DLP incidents, based on the kind of instruction that you provide. And the agent was able to kind of automatically investigate a good amount of them. Many of them were not investigated because they were very similar to the ones that were investigated. And then the agent came up with the recommendation that you may want to close it because the previous ones, which are very similar to this, has been closed by your team as won't fix or are as false positive. But then among the half that the agent investigated, agent was able to clearly show that there were only 36 which were high risk, and the remaining ones could be something that you could kind of investigate with a much lesser priority, right? So it was an eye opener for them. They were pretty thrilled and happy to see that they were able to finally get their hands around on the amount of growing volume of DLP incidents and alerts that were coming because of the increased use of AI out there. Great. Let me switch to my other screen to kind of take you through the demonstration of the agent. So it would be part of the Netskope platform. For those of you you are familiar, AISecOps is going to come in as part of your homepage. But once you come to the AISecOps page, you would see the case rules where you can specify what kind of detections would be most important for you. For example, you can put very sophisticated points like what you would do in a piped query language. We call it the PQL, right? Like what you would see in most of the SIMs, where you just say that group all the incidents where the data that has been exchanged is less than 1 KB, and the activity that the user was trying to do is to kind of edit, modify, and the file exposure seems to be like external or not an external or internal users and private, and the app is not sanctioned. And if there are more than 100 activities, such incidents coming in or alerts coming in an hour, please go ahead and group them together and start your investigation, right? So you have the capability to kind of customize this. And once you do that, what the agent does is it goes and creates out the cases as we are seeing here. For example, in this case, I've done a few activities. Many of these are like, there are 23 incidents, DLP incidents related. Many of these are high severity in nature, medium severity in nature, individual incidents. I mean, like you can get to see the details, the particular DLP violations and all of it out here in a single place, like what you would see in the incident management system that we have today. And all of this have been pulled together by the agent based on the case rule that we saw. And it has just done the basic summary. It says that there were 23 incidents triggered by this user. All were about sending the email. These were the files involved, and so on and so forth. In the traditional workflow, what would usually happen is you would, or the customers that we have worked with, the team members or the security operations team or the DLP team would have put in filters to only look at the high severity incidents that have come in, which means there are 9, and they would go through each of them without being able to kind of easily correlate which is related to which one. And they would go through all the 9 high severity incidents out here. But in this case, with this agentic capability, we have grouped them together. But we have not done anything. We also kind of show what are the similar cases, what was the severity, what was the disposition for similar cases, if any. But the magic happens. In this case, just for the demonstration, I have ensured that I have kept the preferences around auto investigation turned off. Otherwise, it would have automatically investigated. But then for this particular case that we're looking at, case number 3438, I would be able to either do the auto investigation, or I would be able to kind of tell the agent to go investigate. And even while starting the investigation, I can pass on the business context saying, oh, this user seems to be somebody who has recently joined, or this user is part of this project where they are testing out certain things and they should be allowed to and all of it. That's optional. You can leave it open. In this case, I'm not going to give any comments. I'm just going to say that go ahead and investigate. That's when the agent really wakes up and starts going through the workflow that I had shown on the slide, wherein the agent starts going about doing its business. For example, the first step, agent goes and looks at all the 23 incidents that were involved. Then it starts extracting the evidences from each of these 23 incidents that we have, including the file information, the file size and all of it, and the application, all of it, as you see here. Then the agent regroups, if need be, these incidents based on application, based on users involved, based on the type of activities and all of it. And then the user starts looking into the user's behavior, the involved user's behavior. In this case, seems like the user has been exhibiting a good behavioral score, and that comes as part of the advanced UEBA that Netskope already has, as many of you may be using, right? So the agent, though it starts investigating the DLP incident, it also looks into all the other aspects, including the user's behavior. And then it also starts looking into similar cases. Then it looks into the actual forensic file, which is where we have seen many of our customers and security operations team spending a lot of their time, where even if the severity is set to low or high, you would not be able to complete the investigation without really getting into the forensic file and reading through the particular file which was involved in the incident to make an assessment as a human whether this really is sensitive or not, right? There would be points of means there would be forensic evidences, but then there could be context inside the file that would help me understand that this is not super sensitive for the reason that the user has clearly mentioned this is a dummy file that I'm trying for something, and so on and so forth. All of that is completely automated by the agent. So the agent, in a span of few seconds, was able to go through 23 files that were involved in each of, in this particular case, one forensic file per incident, go through the forensic file and make an assessment on if it really was risky. Then the user gets into what other DLP incidents was the user involved in, apart from the 23 over the past 30 days, to understand if there is any correlation or patterns that it needs to keep in mind, looking at the velocity. And then it starts looking into what other application the user has done the activities to find correlation. It also kind of filters out the false positives with respect to I uploading my information, which is to an unshared file and all of it, right? And finally, it comes up with the risk calculation and the summarization. So that's when, if you go back to overview out here, it clearly tells you that the risk factor seems to be medium. Though there are 9 high severity incidents, the overall risk of these 23 incidents combined together is medium, for the reason that the user's behavior seems to be fine. The UCA has been kind of steady. The incident severity has been high. There has been moderate activities, and it has to do with French national ID detection and all of it. But most importantly, it comes up with a summary, like what you would expect from your analyst teams, right? Wherein it clearly says that the user has sent 23 emails via Outlook containing French national IDs to French business partners over the past 24 hours. So DLP was able to block 9 high severity emails, but alerted on the 14. The reason why it is medium is because the user's behavior is good. The business context clearly suggests that there are a lot of false positives. The business context was read using the forensic inspection in the step that I was talking to you about, wherein we were able to the agent was able to understand the email subjects, which is order confirmation, invoice, and other stuff, like what a human analyst would be able to correlate and get to a conclusion on, right? So that has strongly helped the agent assert that most of these are non-risky, right? And it also clearly, the pattern also matches with the reference numbers. And there has been historical precedence with respect to similar activities by this particular user, which was closed and disposed as non-risky, right? And all of the other factors that we were able to find out here. Along with that, you also get recommendations around what should be done to remediate. In this case, that's not that very critical. All what we are recommending is go and review the DLP policies for French business reference number to ensure that there are no false positives out there, and refine it and tune it appropriately. We are building out capabilities wherein you will be able to do some of these response actions right from here. For example, if let's say the case was involving a user sharing a highly sensitive file to the public unintentionally or intentionally, with the response action would be to immediately salvage the situation by unsharing the file or pulling it back. And then that capabilities would, in the coming months, you would see, you would be able to trigger it right from here if your team is approved to do the containment with respect to the blast radius, right? So those are the things that would come in very soon out here. And for your analysts, you would be able to they will be able to interact on the file as they're investigating. You will be able to assign it to them. You will be able to provide additional business context and reinvestigate this particular case and all of it, right? There's one more case that I wanted to show you where you would be able to, for example, let's look at this one out here. This was data loss inside. So this is with respect to a particular case where multiple users were involved, and the agent was able to kind of group all the 66, the context from all the 66 incidents which were involved together and come up with this assessment and the recommendations. Let's say if the recommendations involved going and checking out the user's manager on the business justification. And let's say if the user's manager comes back and says that this is a justified activity, that's the business context that you may want to kind of feed in back to the agent. You would be able to do that using this concept called agent memory, wherein you would be able to go and say that the group of, or these users are actually allowed to test out these applications, that's GenAI application like ChatGPT and others, for the next few days, and thus adjust the keep that in mind as you score and other stuff. So all of that can be done by using the concept of memory, which I'll get to in a minute. Apart from that, you get to see all of the capabilities that we have built in with respect to usage, with respect to integrations, and all of it in the same page, right? Let me also take you through. Oh, this seems to be just a minute. Okay, as always, I'm demonstrating for the latest code, and there seems to be a minor glitch with respect to updates happening, maybe. But hopefully this gives you a gist into what and how Netskope is using AI to kind of complement your existing security operation team members' capacity and capability to automate the initial part of risk assessment, triaging, and response. Which means as a analyst, your lead analyst could come every day morning, get to this page. As it takes time, let me also open up my other tenant. Every morning, your analyst lead could come in and then look at what has come in recently. I want to see only stuff that has come in over the past 24 hours. I would be able to look at all what has come in. There are no critical cases. Okay, let's look at the new cases, and let me go ahead and assign these things to so-and-so user, and so and so forth, right? You would be able to do that. Plus, if you had set this for auto investigation out here, you would be able to start seeing the cases getting investigated, and the investigated cases would be something that you would be able to kind of act on. For example, as you start doing it, as the agents start coming up with the risk score, you would be able to assess whether the agent's investigation was right. If it looks right, you would be able to assign it to an analyst to kind of get that to a closure, even the response part, right? So that can be done. An equally interesting fact the agent memory part. So in the agent memory, you would be able to kind of add context, which could include things like approved for testing, AI testing out here. For example, if one of your department was allowed or group was allowed, you could say that user group following user groups are allowed to test out ChatGPT or test out the following apps for the next 2 weeks. And you can start typing out the names of the apps that are approved for pen testing or for evaluation. And then user groups, we could say it could be the IT team and so on and so forth. And if you were to save this, the agent is going to use this memory for, in this case, I have kind of had to refine this a bit more because we have put in the guardrails to avoid prompt injection so that your analyst would not be able to override this. But once you put that in, any case investigation, future case investigation or reinvestigation that gets done would be using that context as part of the investigation. And it's very similar to how your teams would be operating, wherein you have the tribal knowledge, you have built in the knowledge as you investigate on what are the business context. You feed it into the agent, and the agent starts having the holistic view of the complete business context and uses it for each and every automated investigations going forward, right? It's a very powerful concept that we have seen many of our customers using and appreciating. That's one. The other thing that I wanted to know that I'm going to run out of time, but the other thing that I wanted to kind of touch upon briefly is this concept called views. So what we have seen with cases has been finding the known bads, right? The well-known patterns with respect to risky usage. But we also realize that many of our customers do expect close to 1,000 or 10,000 PII hits every day, right? Which is business as usual. But among these 10,000 PCI or PII hits or critical severity hits, are there any emerging patterns with respect to if there is a user who has contributed most when compared to the past weeks? Where there is application which is involved and dominating with respect to the amount of data that is getting transferred. That's what comes in as part of the views that we have built. So if you were to look at it, the agent wakes up every day and then provides you this, not threat hunting, I would say, but then data loss prevention hunting springboard, where it provides you a summary of what has happened over the past 24 hours, which has been different from whatever has happened over the past 30 days, and gives you insight into which of the trends are worth looking into. For example, in this case, the first trend shows that a particular file seems to have been touched multiple times and has been involved in multiple DLP incidents, right? Seems like something that you may want to look into. And thus, it also shows you who are the users who are involved and all of it. So you can, if you know the context, you can dismiss this. Or if you really want to get into the details, you can use the case construct that we saw and get the agent do a much more deeper analysis or investigation. With one click, I would be able to create a case. And if I was to go into that case, the agent would start pulling in all the related incidents. In this case, there are 11, but on a production, there could be hundreds of incidents. And it will do a different workflow with respect to analyzing the patterns among the 11 related incidents that we have seen here, and then come up with a score like what we have seen in the past, right? And similarly, we have built different views for different categories of DLP incidents coming in for PII, for critical. In this case, it seems like there's one user who has contributed immensely with respect to the PII hits that we have been seeing, right? In my demo setup, it does not have too much of production data or much of production data, but I'm sure when you are talking of PII incidents coming in the bulks of 1,000 and more, or groups of 1,000 and more, doing manual analysis is almost impossible. And that's where this particular capability shines and is helping our customers get to see the emerging threats and patterns and risk before they really kind of cause a lot of damage, right? So that's one. Let me see if I can get back to this trend where I wanted to show you and something that I wanted to. Okay, seems like this is done. That's fine. So that's, I hope this gives you a very high level view into what exactly are we building using AI and how it is going to help your teams on being able to manage the exponential growth in the load that they may have started facing or will soon start facing with your end users using AI applications involving data like the chats and coding and all of it, right? So that's what I wanted to share from a demonstrations point of view. I would like to kind of take any questions that you may have on anything that I've shared so far.